Om Shuklam Varadaram Vishnum Shashivarnam Chaturbhujam Prasannavadanam Dhyaye Sarvavighnopashantaye Ishvaro Gururatmeti Muktibeda Vibhagine Vyomavad Vyaptadehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma Vishavahai Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. So we were looking at the 9th chapter, if you remember, where the main topic of discussion was so Ishwarasya Swarupam and Bhakti. So the chapter began by talking of Ishvara as the Jagat Karanam. So Swarupam wise, Ishvara is Satyam Jnanam Anantam. Brahma, with reference to the world, is called as Ishvara. So Swarupa wise, it is the Sat, the truth, the basis of everything. And then it goes on to talk about the nature of Ishvara with reference to the world, the Jagat, as being a Sangaha, as being a Karta, and then talks about Ishvara manifest itself as Srishti. Okay. So the creation itself, since Bhagavan Swarupa wise is Satyam, everything else becomes Mithya. And Satyam, because everything becomes dependent on Satyam. Jagat is Mithya. Brahma Satyam, Jagat is Mithya. So that is the connection between Ishvara and the Jagat in terms of the reality. So Bhagavan itself, so even though manifest Jagat being non-separate from Ishvara, it is manifest from a manifest standpoint, itself not having any reality of its own, any independent reality. So the Lord is Asangaha, but at the same time becomes the Ashraya for everything else. So all this was explained. So having talked about that, then it says, if I know what, so not knowing the essential nature of of the Jagat, of the creator, of the Jagat Karan, Bhagavan, and of myself. I am part of the Jagat. If I don't know that, then what happens? That is what becomes samsara. So, not recognizing the real nature of things, the real relationship between all these various factors, that the result of it is so a life of experience which makes me feel bound and limited, which is what is called as samsara. So the way to get over the samsara, therefore, is by recognizing what the truth of myself is, what is my essential nature, what is the truth of the creation of Jagat and so on. So, having said this much, then in order to gain that knowledge, one requires a certain degree of maturity of the mind, and for which one of the means talked about is bhakti. So here he introduces what is bhakti. So we'll see that. So up to this point we had seen. So here if you look at your thing, uh, I don't have that number. Traividya. What number is that? Traividya was 20, 20. Okay. Traividyamam somapaha bhutapapa. No. Traividyamam somapa bhutapapa. यज्ञैर् इष्ट्वा स्वर्गतिं प्रार्थयन्ते ते पुण्यमासाद्य सुरेन्द्रलोकम् अश्नन्ति दिव्यान् दिवि देवभोगान्. So Traividya Mam Somapaha Bhutapapaha Yagnaihi Ishtva Swargatim Prarthayante Te Punyam Asadya Surendra Lokam Ashnanti Divyan Divi Deva Bhogan. So here he talks about two types of bhakti. Really. So the two types of bhakti. One, and that has to do with my purpose for the bhakti. So bhakti is manifested in a twofold way, depending on what I'm seeking. So what is the goal? In other words, what is my is it a pravritti, marga? What is the marga? Depending on what my goal is, accordingly I will do what has to be done. So here, one is sakama bhakti. It's a bhakti which a desire for any particular end. It's called sakama bhakti. Another type of bhakti is called as nishkama bhakti. So in sakama bhakti, what happens? So I am looking for certain kinds of an ends. This is what is called as pravritti. Earlier we had talked about two margas, the pravritti margam and the nivritti marga. In pravritti marga, I seek the world. I seek the certain kinds of ends which I feel I'm going to get by pursuing different things in the world. That's called as pravritti. So I'm inclination towards going towards objects. Another is nivritti. Nivritti marga, what happens? So one turns away from the world as the source of giving me happiness and fullness, and I turn to myself. I seek it within me, not seek it outside of me. That is called as nivritti. That is just turning away from the world. So this is in terms of two margas they talked about. One was sannyasa marga and one is karma yoga. So I can do karma, which is going so pravritti marga. But then if the karma is done with an attitude of leading me ultimately to the goal, which is the source within myself, then that becomes a means for nivritti marga. Okay, so that was the thing in terms of lifestyles it can be talked about, or here it is just in terms of pursuit. So even when it comes to devotion, I can have devotion based on what kind of a end I am seeking in life. So here, Sri Krishna talks about one type of a bhakti which leads me to what is that? He says. So that is with reference to these people who are Traividyaha. Traividyaha, people who are so committed with three so Vedas. This is really talking of the Vedas. So originally, when they talk of Trividya or three Vedas, it is Rig, Yajur, and Sama. Atharvana is looked upon as a later addition, the fourth Veda. But three Vedas, when they say it is Rig, Yajur, and Sama Veda. So people who are committed to living a life based on these three Vedas. So who's a Shrauta Karma? They follow whatever is prescribed in the Vedas in terms of the prayers, etc. That lifestyle. So people who are Vedikas, who are committed to living a life based on the Varnashrama dharmas as prescribed in the Vedas, they are the Vedikas. So these kinds of people. He says Somapaha. These are also Somapaha. So the one who perform Soma Yajna, etc. So like Soma Yajna. Soma Yajna is one particular type of Yajna that is performed for the sake of gaining heavenly ends. So, so rituals and prayers that are like Soma Yajna, that are all meant to lead me, means they are meant to give me punyam, and then that punyam fructifies later on certain kinds of experiences, heavenly experiences. So those kinds of prayers, yajnas, he says, who are Puta Papa. Puta Papaha, those people, so who Dirgataha Papaha. Yes, from whom all the papas have so been removed, in the sense not completely removed, but so they are predominantly punyam. So when you do karmas, then one gains both punyam, and you do other kinds of karmas, one gains papam. And then there's always a, so when there is a balance tilted in favor of punyam, when a lot of punyam predominates, and the person is born with heavenly experiences. So such a kind of person for whom, so relatively speaking, the papa karmas don't predominate. This yajnaihi ishtva swargatim prapayanti. They are prarthayanti. So they seek yajnaihi. So by yajnas, by prayers, by living a life of dharma, but they want to, they seek. What kind of an end do they seek? They said, they seek an end that takes them to Swargam, Swargalokam. So Swargaloka is a loka where, so you get, what kind of a, what kind of a loka is it? He describes actually. So Ashnanti Divyan Divi Deva Bhogan. Ashnanti. So they they enjoy a life of, so life, divine life. It's a divine world. So with all good things, good things, the problems which you have on earth, you don't have in the heavens. So it's called Surendra Loka. Surendra Lokam. Surendra Lokam is so the Loka of, so Indra. Indra. Surendra is the lord of the Suras. Indra Devata, who's the king of, he's like the CEO. He's like the CEO of Swarga. He's the one who's on the top, the Raja. And then there are other devatas also are there. It's supposed to be each Manvantara. Indra, when they say, it's not one particular person. Indra is a position. So that position is occupied by different people. So in every Manvantara, there is one Indra. So like that, there are, so 14 Manvantaras are there. In 14 Manvantara, in one cycle of Brahmaji's life, there are so many Manvantaras. So in that Manvantara, each Manvantara has a Manu, and then each one has a Indra, and then each one has so many Devatas and Asuras and all kinds of things. So for every cycle, the idea here is, so the term is a limited term. It's a limited, like a presidency. It's a limited term. It's not, you don't get there and stuck there forever. So because it is all based on karma. Since it is based on karma, it's based on punyam. They punyam asadhya. Gaining punyam, then you go there and enjoy that particular experience. But then it is not forever. It is not, it doesn't go because it comes to an end. Because it is the result of karma. Since it is a result of karma, it is limited. So even though, so heavenly life is much way longer than the human life. So it's like it's a relative immortality. It's not it's not real immortality. Okay. So you go there, the punyam, and then again the jiva continues in its own cycle, whichever way. It may come back to the earth or it may continue in some other loka. So that is how it goes. So he says, Te punya masadhya. So all the karmas having fructified, what happens? Surendra lokam ashnanti. Anyway, so they enjoy that particular loka. Having done that, te tam bhutva swargalokam vishalam. Shine punye martya lokam vishanti. So te tam bhuktva swargalokam vishalam bhuktva. So then, having enjoyed this loka, this field of experience called as heaven, having enjoyed that for a long time, what happens? Shine punye, when the punyam gets exhausted, when the punyam, like your vacation, when you go on a vacation, you can only spend so much money. It's very different than settling down. You can only say, it is smart, people. When you are living in New York, you don't pay that much money for the rent for the month. But if you go on a vacation there, they charge also, so way more. You can't stay one whole month like that there. It's way more expensive. So as if you go as a visitor, you always end up, it's much more expensive. So if we go to heaven, we go there as a visitor. You don't go there as a, so you don't go there to make homestead, not a homestead kind of a thing. So you go there, the punyam exhausts very quickly. And then what happens? Martya lokam vishanti. The person comes back, jiva comes back to Martya lokaha. Martya lokaha is, so Manushya loka. Why? Because here people are born and people die. So there is called Manushya Loka, is called Martya Loka. You come back to Martya Loka. Why do you come back here? Well, because this is where you can do karmas. So the other lokas are lokas where, so most of them that are described, where you consume, you expend either punyam or papam. So there are only a few lokas where you can create new karmas, because choice is there. Wherever choice is there, you generate new karmas. Wherever there is no choice, then you only, like in a dream, for example, when I'm dreaming and I do things in a dream, what happens? Doesn't really generate new karmas. So you only expending whatever previous experiences are there. So these lokas are also like that. So then I have to come back to a loka which is like a Manushya Loka, where I have choice, and then where in Manushya Loka also, if other animals and all don't have choice, but I have a choice. So I do karmas, then that creates more punyam and papam. So therefore, the jiva ultimately has to come back to Manushya Loka. So, Martya Lokam Vishanti. Vishanti means it comes back. Avishanti. एवं त्रयी धर्ममनुप्रपन्नाः गतागतं कामकामा लभन्ते. So evam त्रयी धर्म anuprapannaः. So in this manner he says people who are committed to living a life based on the what the Veda says. So essentially here Vada is based committed to karmas, karmatas and upasakas. So people committed to living a life of yoga and performing prayers and so on. So life of karma and life of upasana. With a view to getting heavenly ends, this is what happens to them. This is Gata Gatam Kama Kamaha. Kama Kamaha are Swarga Kamaha, the one who are seeking Swarga. Swargam you can also understand as any experience that's going to make me better or make me feel happier. In fact, that's what Swargam is. So Swargam is where I find myself now. I'm not happy. This is samsara. And then I think something else is going to make me happy. So therefore, it's like this. This America. So America is considered as Swarga. It's Kubera. It's called Kubera Bhumi. Okay. So this is Kubera Bhumi. For whom? Not for people living here, all of them. So there are a lot of people living in poverty here also. So it's not that everybody is a Kubera who lives in America. But then for the other places which are much better off, This place is called as, it's almost like a swarga for them. So that's why everybody wants to come here. If you live here, then you want to go to another swarga. So essentially, swargam is a experience that I'm seeking, where I think I'm going to be in a better position than I am right now, and then I work for that particular end. So, and this is one marga. This is called as a pravritti marga. Once I finish, so contrasting this with something else. Ananyas chintayanto mam ye janah paryupasate tesham nityabhiyuktanam yogakshemam vahamyaham. So there is another type of a person now who are also, committed to living a life of so whatever is mandated by the scripture and so on. But then they have a certain different goal, expectation. What is that? They are ananyaha chintayantaha mam chintayantaha ye janaha. So these are people who look upon me in a certain way. Because Bhagavan is saying, who like ananyaha means who look upon me as somebody who's not separate from them, somebody who's not distinct, who's different from them. So means they see me as somebody who is, so the same underlying principle. So that is there that sustains everything. So they have the approach towards me. Bhagavan is not looked upon as another person who's separate from the world, who's separate from everybody else. So that is not how Ishvara is understood. The one who seeks to see, he may not see also, but the one who's seeking to understand the oneness. So between oneself and everybody else, between oneself and the Lord, that's called Ananyatvam. There is no Anyaha. There is no another. So he says, Ananyaha Mam Chintayantaha. So they try to understand me, or they try to look upon me as somebody who's not separate from them, not distinct from them. Such people, he says, Ye Mam Paryupasate. They seek me or they worship me in that particular form. Says Tesham Nitya Abhiyuktanam Yogakshemam Vahami Aham. So for such people, he says, Aham Vahami, I I take care of them. I make it possible for them. What? Yoga and Shema. What is Yoga Kshema? Means I give them Yoga Kshema. In other words, Yoga is, so apraptasya praptihi is called Yoga. Yoga is that gaining that which I don't have. Kshema is so retaining what I have gained. Okay. So there are two things in life we seek. Once I seek things which I don't have, once I gain them, then what happens? Then I don't want to lose it naturally. It's like wealth. So I don't have money, I want money. Once I get the money, then what happens? So I want to make sure that it's not taken away from me. So one is called yoga, one is called kshema. Now, a human being's life, anybody's life, that is all it is all about. So you engage the whole pursuit of living is engaging in this yoga kshema. I'm always trying to gain things that I don't have. Once I gain them, then all my energy goes into making sure that I retain what I have got. Okay. But then, so this is a person, even the person who seeks, lives a life of according to the scriptural mandates, even that kind of a person. Ultimately, the end is towards that kind of a, you want to go to heaven, I gain heaven, which I don't have now. Once I gain heaven, so I want to I want to hold on to it all the time. I don't want it to go away from me. So there also there is yoga kshema. So that is everybody's mind is committed to that end. Whereas this other person who lives committed to Bhagavan, no. For him, the goal is different. He's ananyaha chintayanta. So in his mind, the whole pursuit, the chintanam is thinking. So the commitment, the thinking is not for yoga kshema. It is for so understanding something which is deeper. So his pursuit also, even if the pursuit is similar, bhakti, but it is more for wanting to wanting to know something deeper in terms of who I am, what I am, and so on. So for this, his mind is not engaging in yoga kshema. Then what will happen to such a person? Is the question. What will happen? So who's going to take care of this person's needs? So he says that is taken care of. He says, I'm going to take care. You don't have to worry about yoga kshema. So therefore, says the person who seeks to meet certain ends for themselves, they live like that. But the person who's committed to a life of so seeking the Lord, for them, their basic needs, their fundamental needs are they don't that's not an issue. It's like that gets taken. It's like like animals and all. If you look around, so many creatures, so many beings are there, other than human beings. So they are not worried about, they are worried about getting things for the moment. Once they get something, they don't keep them. They're not they're not hoarders. Animals don't hoard; they keep. But unlike people, people will hoard. Animals don't. Even if you think that squirrels and all collect things, but they only collect it seasonally. Squirrels won't collect food for their children and grandchildren and great grandchildren. That they don't do. They teach them how to fend for themselves. The parents. Once they teach them that, then they don't do anything else. Then Bhagavan takes care of them. So, but we are different. We want to make sure that so all those who come after us are going to be good for nothing, useless fellows who are incapable of taking care of themselves. So I have to keep money for all of them. So it's a whole different attitude. But a person who's committed again means their mind is not focused on this thing. Who takes care of them? He says the Bhagavan takes care of them essentially. Okay. This is little different from the attitude of somebody who just says, I'm not going to do anything because God is going to take care of everything. That's not what we are talking about here. Really, we are talking about a person who whose basic needs, if they don't have to worry about, because they are committed to something else, then for them, God takes care of whatever needs to. Which Bhagavan takes care anyway, is in spite of what we think. पत्रं पुष्पं फलं तोयं यो मे भक्त्या प्रयच्छति तदहं भक्त्युपहृतम् अश्नामि प्रयतात्मनः. So patram pushpam phalam toyam yo me bhaktya prayachati. So, this is an important thing. So, he's talking about a bhakta who's seeking the Lord. And then with this attitude of bhakti, he says, so the person, whatever a person is, offers to me, with devotion. So, what does the Lord respond to, really speaking? What does the Lord respond to? It doesn't matter what one offers, in terms of offering. So, whether it is patram is a leaf. So, whether I offer a leaf or whether I offer a flower, or whether you offer so toyam is so udakam or water. This is all what we do in our forms of prayer. It says it doesn't have to be something which is fancy, you know. It is not that. So among bhaktas, so the punyam depends on what you give, you know, or whether you give a flower or you, the bhakta decides he's going to build a, so give a, what is that called, kiritam, you know? So a silver kiritam, a gold, gold crown, or a silver crown I offer to Bhagavan. Other fellow offers just a flower. So what counts here? So it is not what is offered, but the bhakti, yeah. Bhaktya, whatever is given, he says. Tasya aham bhaktya uparitam. So see, it is whatever is given with devotion, with bhakti, he says, aham ashnami, I accept, I accept. So the Lord accepts the offerings that are given with devotion, not necessarily what the offering is. So giving also, all that is given to the Lord, is an offering only. It is not doing, it is not even really giving like we give to somebody else. We often, people think, I do for Bhagavan, this is for the Lord. I give things to the Lord, or I do things. I do things also sometimes, in the Lord's name. In God's name, so many things are done. But really speaking, what are they done for? They're not done for Bhagavan. You say, sometimes some religions also will say that. That's why everyone becomes so representative. They think they are doing things to gain the favor of God. So, by doing certain things in the world, so I gain God's favors. So, this is like treating God like other human beings. So, basically, gaining favors, what does that mean? Gaining favor is different from gaining phalam for something, by gaining the result of an action. When I perform an action, I get the result. That is dependent on the action. When you gain somebody's favor, that's a different concept. So, in gaining somebody's favor, what do you have to do? You have to satisfy the person. You have to make the person happy. Correct? So, you make the person happy and then you gain their favor. That means you become favored. You become their favorite. Okay. So like kids do with their parents. Okay? A lot of siblings are there, and then each one tries to be the favorite one of the parent. So you try to do things, or like your boss at work. So you try to do things that will please your boss so that you become favored by them. So here also like that, there are so many human beings. So everybody is God's children. And then I want to be the favorite. What do you are? It's a competition. It's a competition. So then I am doing things that will make God happy. And this way then God will pick me or will pick me and I get the favored status. Even countries do that, right? So they give this status to other countries, which is where you are the favored partner, in trade and so on. So this is how we look upon Bhagavan also. But really speaking, it's not like that. Where Bhagavan is concerned, it is based on karma. I don't I don't seek God's favors by doing things in order to please Bhagavan. But Bhagavan doesn't need to be pleased, okay, first of all. Neither is the Lord looking for favors from anybody. And neither Bhagavan is obligated to anybody. It is purely in terms of doing actions and getting the results of the actions, in which here bhakti is become the attitude is what becomes important. So if I have the right attitude, if there is an attitude of devotion, then whatever offering is made, it is that particular attitude, the sentiment, which is what I get the result thereof. Okay. So he says, Bhaktya uparitam aham ashnami, in the sense I'm the one who acknowledges that that thing, and then of course response in the form of karma phalam. So yachati, bhaktya prayachati. Yachati, there is giving there is an offering, not really giving, seeking. Yat karoshi yadashnasi, yat juhoshi dadasi yat, yat tapasyasi kaunteya, tat kurushva madarpanam. So summarizing, he says essentially what yad karoshi. So whatever you do, so whatever a human being seeks to do, yad ashnasi. So whatever you eat, yad juhoshi. Whenever you, so juhoshi means when you do prayers, okay, havanam, etc. So the rituals and so on. The dasi, giving, whatever one does. In other words, any action that one performs. He says, Yat tapasyasi tad madarpanam purushva. So you do that all, whatever you do as an offering to me. You do as an offering to me. That means I keep in mind everything. So this will take care of a lot of things. When I do things with the attitude that the Lord is involved in this, okay, it again, if the Lord is involved, that means what I do it will influence what I do also. I cannot do things then. If Bhagavan is in the picture, then automatically I start living a life that is consistent to whatever Bhagavan means to me. Okay. So it becomes consistent to that. So that's why we say, Kayana Vacha Manasendriyarva Buddhyatmana va Prakriti Swabhava. Romi Sakalam Parasmai Narayanaya Iti Samarpayami. So Kayana Vacha, Kayana means with my hands, in the sense with actions. Hand stands for any physical action. So Kayana, by any physical action that I do, Vacha, any verbal action that I do. So Manasa, by my thoughts, Indriyairva, Indriyahi, by the sense organs. Bhaktya, no, Buddhyatmana, Buddhya, Atmana, there is Sankara. So whether it is body, mind, intellect, everything. Prakriti is Swabhava. By the that whatever I do means based on choice and also based on Prakriti. Swabhava means tendencies here, based on my vasanas. Okay. So whatever I do in life, that is either based on my choice or even which is based on my tendencies and inclinations. Not every action that we perform is 100% choice based. Some of it we do because we are impelled to do in a certain direction by our own nature, by our own qualities. That some of which we may be born with, some of which we may have picked up consciously, unconsciously, and so on. All that falls under that category. Therefore, Prakriti is Swabhava. It's not Prakriti means by nature because I'm something else. I may be doing things which I'm not even aware of, but I have to try and become aware of. So all of this, he says, Yad Yad Karomi, whatever I do, Sakalam, Parasmai Narayanaya, Iti, Iti Samarpayam. So that means, in the sense, it's not that everything I do is for the sake of God. Narayanaya is not for the sake of God. I don't do anything for the sake of anybody. I only do everything for my own sake. Okay? So that is the basis. But then I do things keeping in mind that Ishvara is involved. Okay. How is Ishvara involved? Because Ishvara is the karma phaladata. Ishvara is the Lord is the one who gives me the results of my actions. Okay. When I do something, then that which gives me the results of my actions is not separate from the Lord. And what is that? The Lord in the form of dharma, adharma, really speaking. So, because the Lord is manifest in many ways. How is the Lord manifest in terms of actions? When it comes to actions for human beings, the Lord there is present in the form of dharma, dharma. Okay, and the results thereof. So, because these all actions is what they produce. So, when I say this is done keeping the Lord in mind, it is keeping in mind how the Lord manifests in this particular instance. So, where karma is concerned, where actions are concerned, the Lord is present in the form of dharma, dharma, the laws of karma. So, once I have that in mind, then that is exactly what is meant by Narayana here. So, I make an offering. It's not an offering meant to placate somebody or to please somebody, but it is an attitude that always constantly makes me aware of what is involved when I do things or when I make choices. It is samarpaya. So this is ultimately this is what it is. At the end, what at the end that is what we say. So whatever else you do in the may this should be this should form the basis of all my actions. See, aham. See, the whole attitude, we see this is where, the religious thought becomes something that also can create problems in people. And then how we misinterpret things, and then we use it. How religion seems to become the source of problems. Because a lot of the times people think that I'm doing this in the name of God, or when things are done in the name of God, which go against dharma and dharma, which go against what is universally good or universally right. So there is something called as samanya dharma. There is right and wrong from a universal standpoint, which means that should apply equally to all. That's a different kind of dharma. There is right and wrong, which is relative, and there's right and wrong, which is universal. Universal right and wrong should be common for all human beings. But then selectively, I can't have right and wrong, different groups of people saying different things when it comes to universal values. So there is Samanya Dharma is there, which should be common for all of them. But still, so certain groups can always use certain kind of reasoning and then start believing that what they are doing is now they are doing for the sake of some higher cause. And very often, God becomes the higher cause. So, in the name of God, the name of God, whenever I do something in the name of somebody else, basically I'm acting as their proxy, correct? That's what I start believing. When you vote for somebody else, you are their proxy. So when I start doing things which I say God wants me to do, which really God wants to do, but then He wants to do through me. That means I am the proxy. I become the proxy of God. This is all self-appointed. So there's nothing. God doesn't appoint proxies, really speaking. God doesn't. Because for Bhagavan, everything is the same. There's no selectivity. So then I think that I become the proxy. So I start believing that whatever I'm doing for the sake of the Lord. Therefore, all my actions become justified, which is where religion sometimes has been the cause of a lot of problems. But the whole concept is very different, really speaking. Here he says something just samoham sarva bhuteshu, says elsewhere, not in this chapter, but elsewhere he says samoham sarva bhuteshu name dveshyosi na priyaha ye bhajanti tumam bhaktya mai te teshu chapya. He says, aham sarveshu bhuteshu. I'm the same. For me, there is no name dveshya. So there is no, there, I don't have raga or dvesha towards any individual. Okay. Bhagavan says that here 29. In 29 he says, so the law from the standpoint of the Lord, it is not that I have favorites, that I like some and I don't like some. It says Samaha Sarva Bhuteshu Aham. Where the Lord is concerned, all beings are Samaha. They are the same. What do you mean by all beings are the same? That means even the good ones and the bad ones. Yeah, it's really speaking. It's interesting. So even the bad guys, means good and bad is what we figure out. So even suppose we have good guys and bad guys. So Bhagavan doesn't have that I like all the good fellows. I don't like all the bad people. You know? So this kind of like and dislike that we experience, does the Lord also experience likes and dislikes like that? You know, you wonder. So if I visualize Bhagavan, the Lord, as an individual, then of course, then I think that the Lord also has likes and dislikes and preferences and biases and prejudices and everything else, okay, that I experience. So therefore, that's why he can pick and choose, you know. So arbitrarily, he picks certain people who become his proxies and certain other people who become bad. So he has likes and dislikes, that means, like anything else. No. Or if he doesn't have his own preferences and likes and dislikes, then he gets influenced by what you do, naturally. Because then you do something to seek his favor. That means he has some preferences also. And so the ones who please him more, then he is favorite to those people. People who don't please, this is how we deal with each other. But here it's very different here. He says, people are all samaha. Everybody is the same from my standpoint. In the sense, so Bhagavan doesn't have likes and dislikes and preferences. Then, but then does that mean I can do anything? Does that mean it makes no difference whether I do something which is right or wrong? There it makes a difference. It makes a difference. But the difference is not born of Bhagavan's preferences. Okay. There it is just born because that is the nature of karma. The whole nature of karma that is based on choice by its own definition. Once we say choice, that means there is no samatvam in choice necessarily. When there is a choice, so either the two choices have to be exactly the same, okay, which if they are exactly the same, then it will be only one choice. Okay. Then it won't be two choices. But if there are, naturally, if there are two choices which are exactly the same, even between twins, there is some difference has to be there somewhere. But if it is exactly the same to the final chromosome, then it will be one only. So here he says, once I have choice in terms of karma, the very nature of choice is there may be one choice which is better than the other. And once one comes better than the other, depending on the context, once it becomes one better than the other, then you just expand that range, and then it becomes on the one end of the spectrum, it is right, and the other end becomes wrong. Or one is better and the other is worse. Or one is better and the other one is still better. Okay. So, whichever way, whatever words we use, the choice by its very nature creates that difference. This doesn't have to do with whether Bhagavan has likes or dislikes. Okay. So that is something that's centered on us. It is also even what is good and bad is not always dependent on like and dislike, even for human beings. So because there may be good things that I like, there may be bad things that I like. Okay. So it is also not always connected to raga and dvesha, interestingly. So it's a very different measure of what is right and wrong. So karma itself creates right and wrong. It has nothing to do with really Bhagavan's preferences. Because from the standpoint of Bhagavan, he says, Aham, says in there is no Dvesha, there is no Priyaha, there is no Raga, etc. Where the Lord is concerned. There is only Samatvam in that particular relationship. It's a very different way of thinking than thinking about, so I am a proxy who's doing something to earn the favor of somebody who will then give me preferential treatment compared to all the other guys who did not do all this. So it's a very different kind of a understanding. So thus, when it comes to bhakti, these two types of bhakti here are talked about. Later on also he talks about bhakti, the 17th, 16th chapter, where he 17th, 16th, 17th, where he talks about bhakti in terms of the gunas, the qualities. So there is sattvika bhakti, then rajasic and tamasic. Here it is bhakti in terms of, so sakama bhakti or nishkama bhakti, or bhakti which is motivated by a certain desire towards gaining ends which are outside of myself, or it is bhakti that is driven by an end here, which is seeking oneness with the Lord. So with this, he concludes this particular chapter. Later on, some of these ideas get elaborated upon in the next couple of chapters, which we'll see next time. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Guru Namaha. Hari Om.